Afternoon, everybody. Afternoon, Profster. How are we all doing? Bit of a flat session this morning, wasn't it? Very boring. DAX didn't really move anywhere. Got the gap fill. Second attempt. Just about made it. But, yeah. Sideways. Doing nothing. Very odd market this morning. Very quiet. As if the whole world's asleep at the moment. The Dow didn't do an awful lot. Boeing's down. Afternoon, Bruno. There's a plane crash in China this morning. So Boeing stock dropped pre-market. So we might see a quick drop on the Dow because Boeing is in the Dow. So we might see that come down this morning. The New York Open. So we'll have a look at that. But it might be worth taking a quick one out the gates at the Open actually on the Dow. But we'll see. It's down about 6% or something, 7% apparently. So we'll see what happens there. Bad day today for me, Profster. Afternoon, David. Yeah, not been a great morning for me. 3% down this morning. Couldn't get anywhere on the DAX. My initial idea this morning was fine. It worked, which was the gap fill. But when we pulled back down, we had this big spiky candle. Yeah, I've been chopped about all day basically, just trying to get a move, but it didn't. It just went sideways. So I've just literally been stopped out. Horrible this morning, bit rangy and nasty, but you get days like that. And then you get other days where you bank 5%, 6%, and it all evens itself out over time. Matt, question with indicators. Can we get an alert that combines the symmetrical triangle and breaker? No. They're completely different systems and strategies, nothing to do with each other. They have no relationship whatsoever. Symmetrical triangles are consolidation patterns. Reversal alerts are reversal market structure patterns. They're completely different strategies. You can't combine them. 4 losses in a row. Yeah, you have it. This is the problem with prop firms, and I keep bringing this up, but prop firms are geared for normal trading conditions. And you will have 10 trades in a row go wrong. You'll have 10 losses in a row. Everybody does. You get them. There's nothing you can do about it. So when you get that 10 losses in a row, you'll blow your prop firm evaluation or your live prop firm account if you've got one. And then you have to start again. But that's reality. There is no trader in the world that cannot sit there and not take a string of consecutive losses. It's going to happen. Best traders in the world are going to do it. That's the problem with prop firms is they're really, really good if you can time them right. And this is what I keep saying. If you can get a good prop firm that hasn't got a trailing drawdown that doesn't trail continuously. So if your trailing drawdown caps at your initial level and then you can build a nice pot on top of it, those are probably they're the ones you can trade. Those are the prop firms you can trade. The ones that have continuous trailing drawdowns, some point you're going to hit it. You're going to hit it. Best trader in the world is going to hit it. So you need to find a decent one with the right rules. And they're tricky to find, unfortunately. And that's the problem. You've got to time it. You've got to rely on having a semi-lucky, semi-skillful streak when you're doing an evaluation that gets you past that stage. If you just are unlucky enough to have a losing streak, you're stuffed. Where can I find a good live gap indicator? The ones I've downloaded, I have to manually refresh. I don't know. WRB Hidden Gap is good. It's in the Telegram group, the one I use. WRB Hidden Gap. Google it. Or in the Telegram group, it's in there if you want it. You don't need to redraw your charts or anything on that. That works fine. There'll be others out there you can find though. There's a few around. Yeah, so tough morning this morning. I've got a DAX short on my other account at the minute, which I'm about to stop out on. It's awful. So basically, we made a new low. We didn't close below the low, but we made a new low. So we pulled back, pain came up, pushed back down again. So I shorted it here, stop here. It's about to get me, innit? I can just know it. I've dropped my wrist down to 0.5% on it because it's just one of those days today. Hopefully, we'll rectify that in the New York session. We'll get some movement. So, as you can see, ADRs today, nothing. We haven't gone anywhere. It's flat as a pancake and hideous. So, nothing to report on ADRs at all. Don't think there's anything even getting close, unfortunately. Swiss yen, it's not too far away. Swissie's had some decent movement this morning. But even that's like chilling now. Aussie Swiss, that's about it. There's nothing else, is there? It's just awful. New Zealand Swiss. So it's all the Swiss francs basically. So if we look at the hourly extensions, Swissy yen. Let's look at the hourly. We had a big push up beginning of London. So this was the move. So you either got that move or you haven't got anything today. It's been one of those days. So yeah, sideways. But that was the move on the Swissy. And Euro Swiss to the downside. I'm short this already. So that was nice for me. But I'm not closing it out. I'm holding it. Basically, the Euro Swiss short I've got at the moment. I had two levels drawn on the other chart, which was that one there and this one here. And I said on Friday, didn't I? If we break these two levels, I think we're good to go. So we might get a pullback, but I think now we've broken this support here, this there, which is kind of a little bit like this, and this support and this accumulation here. So this was resistive and then became supportive. We've smashed through that and crashed through it. So I'm holding this short. And it's euro. Obviously euros not very good at the best of times at the moment. So so that's the hourlies. Again, not a lot to talk about this morning, because this afternoon, because it's not really gone anywhere. 4 hourlies, we've still got quite a few extensions on the 4 hourlies. Mainly the yens still. So we have got a reversal on the hourly on the Aussie yen. So the yens, we had a little bit of a sign of something. Oh, excuse me. Trying to be watching charts all morning. We had signs of something starting on the yens this morning. We got reversal alerts on the hourlies. So it looks, apart from the Swiss, obviously, because the Swissy pushed up hard. So we got some signs of some weakness across the board of everything against the yen. So a little bit of yen strength. We've had no follow through so far. Pound's doing okay. Pound's having a little flurry at the minute. Across the board, flat pound's going up. So it kind of started. Whether or not we get a continuation in New York, we will see. But we've had the reversal alert, so we'll see if we get the retest during New York. If we can get a retest on this during New York, could be a sign of a reversal starting to move in. We haven't had one for ages on these. So Aussie dollar yen, nicely extended. Reversal alert on the 4 hour, retesting at the moment. CAD yen, didn't quite get the reversal alert on that one. Pushed down, but we've pushed back up again. Swiss yen, obviously the Swiss yen is pushing up. The Swiss has been strong this morning. So continuation move on that. And euro yen, we've just accumulated. Hourly, we are showing a little bit more signs of weakness than strength, but still nothing actually really moved. Pound yen was looking okay until that last couple of hours where we've had a big flurry on the pound. So, and again, another push up on that one. I'm not quite sure why the pound's moving up. I haven't seen any news apart from Boris sparking fury after comparing the Ukraine war to Brexit. You couldn't make it up, could you? The stuff comes out of his mouth sometimes. Just unbelievable. So no movement on there. We have got movement down. So it's potentially looking like we might be starting a little bit of a reversal. We've made a new low, but we haven't got any confirmation yet. So that one's not quite as extended as I'd like. The rest are. So not too interested in the pound yen. New Zealand dollar yen. Again, almost. We had a nice push down, but rejected this morning. So Aussie yen was the only one that actually gave us a reversal alert this morning. The rest not. So US dollar CAD. There's a few people who were watching this one this morning. Again, we've gone nowhere. We were looking at this double bottom on the US dollar CAD. So when we looked at it this morning, it was pushing down again. We had a nice little rejection back up, pushed up a little bit. Now we're pushing down again. So again, accumulation, all accumulation at the moment. Everything's getting kind of ready to bounce, but this is what happens when you have no news. Market's just sitting there going sideways at the minute. And US dollar yen, obviously same thing, pushed up, nicely extended. We've been embedded on this one for a week. Just kind of slow grinding on the US dollar yen, just waiting for some decent yen strength to come through. So all a bit quiet across the board. Anybody got any other pairs they want to look at? In particular, afternoon, David. Proster, short on the Dow. Yeah, so we'll be short on the Dow. I'm short. I am short on the Dow on my other account. I've got a short on the DAX, which is a short-term short. Short-term short. At the moment, I'm looking basically on the DAX as we push down. I'm basically looking for a short. So I'm in short. I've got a stop here, and I've got an ad under here. Hang on, where's my ad? Yeah, my ad's under there. So if we get that move down, I'm going to get gathered up into two positions and go short. Stops at 50% retracement on the move, basically. So just about there, just above that high. So that's just a short-term play at the moment. I'm looking just to scalp it sort of down to these lows at the minute. On the Dow, I've got 3 positions on at the minute, short. My average is kind of a little bit down here, roughly, somewhere around there. So about 3/4 of an ADR is my average. I'm looking for a short on that as well. So all the indices, basically, as I said this morning, we're 4 days up. So looking for a retracement. This morning we didn't get any movement. I was looking for a push up and a drop. We didn't get it. So yeah, nothing happened. But looking short today. But 4 days on the trot. You know, when we get a 4-day, 5-day push in a bear market, that's usually it. Obviously, in a bear market, we could have many more days down. But 3 or 4 days up, typically in a bear market, you'll start the next leg down. Obviously, we are assuming that we are still in this bear market. We don't know. But at the moment, just got stopped out on that one, that DAX. Just got stopped out there. Oh, one of those days today, isn't it? Horrible. Short on the pound US dollar, Bruno. Yeah, that's not going well at the moment. US dollars, it's funny at the minute. Pound is basically having a push. as you can see at the moment. So across the board, the pound's having a decent end of London session. Not that that means it's going to be long-term long. It's, again, you know, we're just in this horrible, just like no man's land at the moment across so many instruments, apart from the yens. So accumulating in a symmetrical triangle. Looking for a break one way or the other. Personally, I think pound is going to drop, but not at the moment. Pound odd and Aussie US. So yeah, pound odd. Obviously, we took that low out this morning. We've pushed back up again and got the reverse alert and pulled down. So be looking for a move somewhere up into there if we're going up. But this one, obviously the market structure on it, we covered this one this morning. We're in a kind of expanding wedge at the moment, which is very hard to trade. I hate trading stuff like this because the market structure is not there. Every time you get a new high, you get a lower low, then you get a higher high, then you get a lower low. It's just wrong. It's not. There's no market structure in it. It's undecided. So we've had a nice move. There's no reason why we won't stay somewhere within this range at the moment because we're trying to correct out the back of this big move down on the pound that we had at the war, and it's not really gone anywhere. So the fact that we're down at the lows, you kind of have to play technically along from here. Nicely extended. We are pushing out. Just got the reversal alert, but how far are we going to go? Very, very difficult to tell. There's no market structure in this at the minute. So it's kind of a range-bound trade, long. So I think you're probably okay in that pound odd long at the moment, but I really wouldn't know where to hold it to. Everything in me wants to say we're going to now look to correct this move that we had at the start of the war, but doesn't seem to be doing an awful lot at the minute. Very undecided. Aussie dollar, US dollar. Again, short up until we had the change in the COT report. I would have been very long on the US dollar, but obviously the market has sort of changed its mind. Whether that's long term or short term, again, difficult to tell. We've had a big, strong push on the Aussies. The Aussie and the New Zealand dollar have done very, very well out of this conflict. I suspect we're going to see a little bit of weakness coming through on those two. Now, the decision here is whether or not we're going to get US dollar strength, which at the moment seems to be a little bit on the short side. So, very nicely extended. You got nice potential head and shoulders forming up there, but at the moment, big strong push. So difficult. Where's the euro US dollar? So euro US dollar is down. So we got a fairly strong US dollar at the minute in the London session. So we had a decent push down, but again, we're accumulating. So you see we've got reversal alert after reversal alert. We're just in this massive, horrible accumulation today. So it's a bit of a flip of a coin at the moment as to where anything's going to go this week. They've shown no signs really at all of which direction we're going to go in. All they've done literally in this session on euro US dollar is taken out all the liquidity of everybody that's gone in the Asians short. Everybody that's Asian gone long, they've taken their money, and we're just sitting back where we started in London. So just literally nothing's gone anywhere. But from a 4-hour perspective, obviously on the Aussie US, wherever it's gone, I'd be looking much more for shorts than longs at the moment. So yeah, that's good. We haven't had a good correction on this whole move, but we are accumulating. Whenever you see a big strong push like this, normally, obviously, what we would get is a profit take. Yeah, this is what we're used to. This is what we get all the time. We get a big strong move and a profit take, big strong move and a profit take, big strong move and a profit take. At the moment, because of the war, we don't know how much of this movement is speculative and how much of it is repositioning of funds. The speculative will all take profit. If it's repositioning of funds, there's not really a profit take move required. So it's very, very hard to analyse. But I would say more short than long, definitely. But it's tricky at the moment. Currently in gold sells. I wouldn't be selling gold personally, but it's looking weak at the moment today. So we've had a little bit of a drop down on Friday, but we are obviously pushing off of I think it's off the 72, isn't it? We're pushing off on gold. No, 24. So pushing off the 24 moving average. Reversal alert. We're just retesting at the minute, I would say, for longs. But again, US dollar is going to have a big part to play in that, and at the moment everything's neutral. So tough times, very tough times. Oil, big strong push. We didn't get the gap fill on oil. Was looking at this potentially for a gap fill play today. I was eyeing it, looking for signs of weakness. We didn't get a break on it. So I was basically, this morning, I've just been watching this out the core of my eye every sort of half an hour, just to see if it looked like we were just going to do a push drop move. We didn't manage to get a break of that support. So every time we got down to support, we've bounced. So oil looks long still, but we didn't get that gap fill done. So again, it's so much of this indecision at the moment. Everything you see from a technical basis looks as if it wants to do one thing and then it shocks you and just disappears off and does the other. Like the DAX this morning, it looked like it wanted to do a gap fill and it came up and it tried to do a gap fill and then it suddenly shorted and then we got this whacking great wick. It accumulated for an hour and a bit and they went pop, okay, done it. And now it hasn't gone anywhere. It's just the market's just so weird at the minute. 4-day accumulation we're in now on the DAX. Nowhere, gone nowhere. We still haven't got this gap done. So this is why I'm trying to find opportunities at the moment to short it. But the danger is when you've got one thing in your mind, and I've fallen foul to this before, and everybody does, but you have a bias in your mind and you are so focused on that bias, you ignore what you can see going on elsewhere. I'm looking for shorts on this because I'm convinced this gap fill is going to get done. It's a big round number to aim for as well. But yeah, tricky. We'll see what happens in the New York Open. We've just got a 3-bar reversal potentially going in on the DAX at the minute. Let's see if we can get a break down here. So we've got a push, nice pause in the middle, just reversing out. Market structure, pull back 50%. This is why I had my stop exactly where they were expecting my stop to be. So they came up and took my stop out. I would have been stopped out anyway though. That was where I was looking. So I was just up here. So looking good for shorts. We've got 4 minutes to the open. So if you're going to take a short on this move here, a bit of a speculative short, because obviously at the open we're going to get a bit of a spike. But we will see what happens. So this afternoon I'm going to be trading the Dow. I'm going to keep an eye on the DAX as well, because I really want to play a short on the DAX. I'm really tempted to take it now, but don't know. Or is it highs there? I'm going to take a quick short on the Dow, the DAX now at the open, or just before the open, sorry. But with a decent stop above these highs. I've got a feeling this might be the high of the day. So this is kind of a, I'm only risking 0.5%, but it's quite a big stop. And obviously I can get in with some additional positions if this actually does start to play out. But it is starting to roll over now. So if that is the high of the day, we did put that new low in, which means that will be potentially the pullback on the next leg down. So that's kind of what I'm playing there. And I'm going to watch the Dow as well. We've got 2 minutes to the open. Oh, excuse me, a bit sniffy. I think I'm coming down with a cold. I went to a basketball match at the weekend. It's the first proper kind of, I don't know, sporting event or gathering I've been to since we sort of started coming out of COVID. And obviously COVID numbers are going through the roof, and I was sitting in an absolutely packed basketball stadium at the weekend. Say stadium, it's a leisure centre. But yeah, and now I've got a cold 2 days later, just ever so slightly worried I've caught COVID there. So it does feel like a cold though. But anyway, we'll see. So I was a bit husky this morning as well. That's probably what it was. Okay, 1 minute to the open. Just hit TP on gold sells and banked 3%. Good man. Yeah, I think you're probably right to get out of gold. I don't know. It's just the market's very, very difficult to read at the moment. Dow's coming down at the open pretty hard. Whoa. So the Dow is what I was basically looking to short. Wow. Based on Boeing, assuming that we're going to get some weakness off of that Boeing. Well, the crash this morning, basically. Airline stocks. When it's not airline, air manufacturer, plane manufacturer, whichever one basically it is when there's a crash, typically you have a dump on the stock, and Boeing is in the Dow. So I was just looking for a bit of a Dow drop this morning. We're having a little bit of a push at the open, so doesn't mean that's going to hold. I'm putting a sell stop underneath the low. Just seeing if this initial buying is going to get eaten up. Not a lot of movement on the DAX. Bit whipsaw on the NAS as well. You can see he's moving average, look. Just literally been flat and sideways all day. Okay, Dow's pushing up to new highs on the open. So let's have a look where we are potentially going. So we got yesterday's high, 34,760. Apart from that, difficult to tell. 800 point candle. Big move in the open. Okay, so there's yesterday's high just hit, 760. Matt, if you want to contact me, it's probably best to do it in the Telegram group. You can. There's an email on the website, but I don't check it that often. I live in Telegram, so you're better off in there. All the links you need are in the description on the live room. Okay, going short one on the Dow. I'm just trying a speculative short at yesterday's high. May or may not work. Met quite a bit of resistance there. It's pushing through now. That's going. That is a big opening range. Stopped out on that initial opening range on the Dow. Okay, opening range. That's a big opening range. Big strong push there. Wasn't expecting that on the Dow. Are we going to get 5 up days on the trot? Certainly looks like it at the moment. Just adding one more, because I've got a very wide stop on this DAX trade. Just adding one more off of the rejection of that high. Got a big old stop. This is more of a sort of today, a longer term swing trade than a scalp, but we've rejected those highs on the DAX. So far, I mean, we've got 3 minutes left on this candle, but I'm just adding another position in there because I've got such a big stop on it. It's only 1% and it's got to crack today's high. That closed the gap on the Dow as well. Was there a gap on the Dow? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a big... that's not just closed it. That's permanently shut the door. Nice rejection showing on the Dow up here. I'm going short. One on the Dow. Oh, what happened there? What? Short. you want to take that trade? What the hell? Weird. Why are my trades being closed? Well, it's a good job they are. Still pushing. Why is that closing those trades out? I've got an EA running on another account. I'm just going to manually trade this for a minute. Just going with the single contracts. Getting decent rejection on the DAX. Dow is struggling up here. We keep getting pushed and sellers are stepping in, driving this down. So going second short, looking to get this gap fill, at least. Gosh, decent amount of volatility at the open. So just going to take this this initial trade off down at this gap fill here. Just cancel those pendings off. NAS is pushing hard at the moment. We've got some bit of divergence here. The Dow's coming down fairly nicely. S&P pushing hard. So is the Nasdaq. So this does look like this is to do with Boeing. This initial dump we're seeing on the Dow. DAX is weak. FTSE's weak as well. Okay, I'm just about to TP on that initial order. Just moving stop to break even on the second position. Try and ride this one down if I don't get stopped out on it. Okay, so watching what happens when we get to this wick. Straight through. Short one more on the DAX. Bit of a tight stop on this one. Decent rejection on the NAS. Okay, so we'll see if this is going to be initial move, pullback, push, or if this is just the initial pump before we drop today. DAX is looking like it wants to continue short. So got that opening range break to the low on the DAX. Just broken the high of, well, what I would class the high of the low of the session. It's pretty much the session was there, wasn't it? We had the initial open chop. So see if we can hold this level. If we can break and hold, should be good for a nice short today, hopefully. NAS is coming down really hard. Okay, DAX is pushing lower. Still got 1 minute left on this candle, but we are looking like we're trying to get a new low formed here. So market structure, that is peak formation high. If that is peak formation high, then obviously market structure is shifting bearish. DAX still going. Dow's still struggling to make new highs. I've just taken a second position on the Dow short. Not quite sure why I was getting stopped out up here. I was closing my trades for some reason. A bit weird. I'm going to close this one out. That manual trader took. That was about just over 1 and a bit % I made on that Dow short. Okay, closing part of my DAX out. Putting a new sell stop underneath that low. If we can get a breakdown below that low, I think we might get some acceleration to the downside on this one. Just pulling both my stops down on the DAX, just reducing the risk in case we get a crazy spike. Okay, DAX making new lows. Should get gathered up on that second Dow position in a second as we break the opening range low. I'll just move that down just under the opening range low. Okay, moving my stops to break even on the DAX trade. Second position on the Dow. NASDAQ. Not happy. I've got a bit of buying coming in at the lows on the Dow. I'm just closing out one of my DAXs. got very tight stops on these Dow trades. I'm just being a little cautious down here because a lot of volatility on the Dow. Nasdaq's coming down really hard though, so should be okay on them. There's a lot of resistance down here. Okay, I'm closing out the DAX completely. Just watching the NAS on my other monitor. We're just struggling to make new lows on the Globex session at the minute. A lot of support down here. It's really struggling. Got loads of room back down to here, but we're really struggling at the minute just to make new lows, which is why I'm just a bit cautious on this Dow. Looking for that level really. Might have to pull back on this a little bit. Okay, Dow, we might be starting a little bit of a pullback here. looking for a pull back into that area on the DAX. See if we can get back up into here. I'm going to add a new position there. If it's going to give us a chance to get back up there, that is. Okay, going short one more on the Dow. It's a bit tight. Okay, I'm putting pending order on the DAX. Really, really strong today. This could well just be one of those absolutely collapsing sessions. If so, we want to maximise on it. But if it pulls back up into there, I'll add in there as well. But I'm keeping very wide stops on the DAX. Bit of a pullback on the Dow. Might get stopped out on that one. Bit tight. Got good potential pullback on Nasdaq as well, so we might see the pullbacks starting after this initial move now. See, looks really heavy though still. All the indices look really heavy. Bruno managed to close with a small loss. Close what? What were you in? Oh, pound US dollar. Nice rejection on the Dow. very weak today. Okay, Dow's just fallen out of bed. Going short one on the DAX. Again, wide stop. Might be a bit early on that. Just watching what's happening with the other indices. Nasdaq on M5 just cracked the lows, the session lows. So all the indices looking very heavy. Just getting ready to close one of these out down here. Second short of DAX. Okay, closing most profitable position out. Just moving my stops down. Just in case. So I'll take a tiny loss. Average is here. I'm just moving my stops to there. We literally haven't had a green candle on any of this yet. So what I'm just wary of is a big spike. And then obviously continuation down. I just don't want to get stopped out with like minus 1.5% in case we get some big old spike. Safe on the DAX because obviously stops are miles away on the DAX. And we've got a lot of selling pressure which potentially is going to stand here. This is the break, so we'll have a lot of people defending the sell positions in there. Okay, approaching low of the day. I'll just close those out. I think I've got TP on, haven't I? Daily target, 2%. So I just banked 2, 3, 4, 5.5% at the open. That'll do. 2.5% up on the day now. With 0.2% running. And we've made a low of the day. So looking for pullbacks, basically. I'm not going to jump in and chase this all the way down here. want to wait for something. Might be quite difficult to get back in today, to be honest, but we'll see. Oops. Okay, so we've just challenged the low of the day there. Got rejected. Just going to close out this DAX. Shall I? Or shall I? What shall I do? What shall I do? I'm going to just move these to break even. We're getting a fair bit of pullback across all the indices at the moment. So I don't want to take a loss on it. I'd rather take that break even off, which I've just done there. So I'm out of the DAX and wait for us to pull back. So have a quick look at what everything else is up to. US dollar, not a lot. Nothing much happening on the New Zealand dollar. Pound, very strong. Very strong pound. I think you're wise to get out of that short, Bruno. Euro's pushing as well. Pound is a lot stronger than the euro, as you can see. Gap fill's done on that euro move. Oops. Euro Swiss. Swiss franc still seems very strong at the moment, and the euro's still struggling down there. Decent push on the euro, on the Swiss yen. CAD yen still pushing. God, this thing's never going to let me out, is it? So we're attempting higher the day on the CAD yen. So interesting to see what happens here. If we get a push above there and get a nice big bearish move out of that, that could well be just a liquidity run on the London session. There goes the DAX. Oops. So not an awful lot of movement on the FX pairs at the US Open. Not giving up, is it? Nasdaq's made new lows. Right after you closed your position, it spiked up. Awesome. It's a nice feeling when you get out of a position and then you see it would have gone way further against you. I think I might struggle to get back in these today. Not the end of the world. Made a decent profit out of them, but nice to hold them short. Gold just absolutely flew. Let's have a look. Yeah. Big move. Yeah, I really think gold. I think gold. We're going to see new highs on gold in the next month, possibly even sooner, depending on what happens with the war. But gold always appreciates in times of crisis. I'm very surprised it made a complete A-shaped recovery from where we had the. I mean, the war obviously started, or the invasion started here. This is where it all really started to kick off. I'm surprised we got that completely reversed. I wasn't expecting to get that whole thing done, and wasn't expecting the same thing to happen on oil either. Oil did completely the same, and now look, oil, same thing. We should definitely see the price of both of these appreciating. Just very surprised. I tried to catch this on the way down and just didn't give up. Okay, we've got a bit of a bottom forming on the DAX. Got an inside bar on the Dow. Do I ever get interested in trading gold? No. I do get interested in trading it, but every time I trade it, I get hurt. Without fail. Again, every now and again, I might make some money out of it, but 90% of the time, it gets me. Double bottom on DAX. Yeah, so gold, I don't trade it anymore. It just always beats me up. It's just because it's so volatile. I mean, it's things like this. Yeah. You get these big moves. If you look at it on the 4 hour, not so much at the moment, but it's things like that. Yeah. If you get into a trade, a mean reversion trade on gold, and it doesn't want to mean revert, it squeezes you so hard and so fast. It's just dangerous from a position trading perspective. I've just found it goes through points where it just does not let up. And that's where it stings me, which is why I stopped trading it. I mean, there's a prime example. Of what gold's capable of. Like in 1 4 hour candle, absolute collapse. And it always seems to be around about these times that I seem to get interested in it. So I just don't anymore. But a lot of people are attracted to it because you make a lot of money out of it. Yeah, if you get in right on it, it can make you a lot of money. But if you get in wrong on it, it will hurt you. So if you do an analysis, always do an analysis every now and again. It's worth it. Just get your P&L and look at the instruments that made you money or the instruments that lost you money. If you can get rid of the instruments that lost you the most money, you're immediately going to make more money. There will be instruments, regardless whether you know it or not, there'll be instruments out there that if you look at your P&L, you will go, why do I never make money on New Zealand dollar CAD, for example? Don't know why, but just don't trade it anymore because you don't make money on that instrument. Either you're reading it wrong, your bias is just wrong on it, has been wrong on it for a while. I don't know, there will be a reason. But if you can identify those things and remove those losses, you instantly become more profitable. I really want to short the DAX here. It just hasn't had enough of a pullback. It doesn't look like it's going to get back up into here, but it's struggling to pull back. It just feels like there's just so much selling pressure. Nasdaq's fallen out of the bottom and isn't stopping. I'm putting a sell stop on the Dow. Nasdaq's coming down so hard. Looking for that short one on the Dow. Why are you closing my position out? Ah, idiot. Right, I've figured out why it was closing my positions up there. I have my EA set to get me out when I hit target for the day. It's doing its job. It's saying, what are you doing? Stop trading. You've hit your target. That was really foxing me, that was. Just shows you, EAs are only as good as the person operating them. Why aren't you letting me trade? Because you've hit target, you idiot. Stop. Still want to get short. I shouldn't be, should I really? What am I going to do? I do still fancy a short though. DAX is just the DAX has just gone short again. Tell you what I'm going to do. What should I do? Should I go wide stop or should I go less risk? Such a long way to pull back. It really is. Everything's falling out the bottom. Okay, I'm putting sell stop under there. DAX is gone. So the reason I put that big stop on was just basically looking for a 38 to 50 retracement. We're in a very strong, we're in the middle of a very strong move at the minute. So I would expect any pullbacks to be weak. So no more than the 50. So basically just looking for a decent pullback up into there and then a drop. Either that or it's just going to fall out the bottom. We've had one green candle in the last half an hour. It's not stopping at the minute, is it? Nasdaq's just made new lows. Short one more. So we've got this little area of accumulation here that we may well find some buying pressure coming out of. We found a little bit obviously as we got into this initially at the lows. So we might find we get a little bit more coming out down here. Oh, I thought I just turned that off. Did I not just turn that off? Oh my god. It's a good problem to have, making so much money that your A won't let you trade. But god, that's annoying. Okay, going short one manually with everything turned off this time. Nasdaq, sorry, the DAX just made new lows. Nasdaq's just made new lows as well. So we had this little accumulation here, which we just stomped straight through. So it looks like we're targeting 14,100 level roughly on the NAS. S&P looking for around 44.26. We still haven't got the low of the Globex session on the S&P yet though. DAX, new lows. DAX basically at the bottom at some point. It's going to take a while to get down there though. We got so much room though. If you look at where the ADR is at the minute, we haven't gone anywhere today. There is an awful lot of room on all these indices. Still pushing on the NAS. Tesla has just hit monthly highs. Nasdaq's coming down very hard off the back of that Tesla hitting highs. What do you know? Okay, so we're starting to slow down a little bit on the Dow. We have just made new lows, but rejecting these lows again. So potentially this could be the start of a pullback. We'll see how far we pull back if it is. Nasdaq's not stopping though. Neither is the S&P. FTSE's coming down hard as well. FTSE's just made new lows on the day, following the DAX nicely. Swiss franc powering up again. Decent movement on the Swissy. US dollar's not going anywhere. Is anybody else riding these down? It's all very quiet in chat today. Okay, Nasdaq's starting to look like it might want to put the brakes on slightly. Adrian, yes I did. Yeah, got on a sell on US 30. Cool. Okay, inside bar formed on the NAS. Still no strength showing at all anywhere. FTSE is the only thing really that looks like it's starting to pull back, but it hasn't moved anywhere near as fast as the US indices, obviously. So, and we're getting a little bit of movement on the DAX as well now by the looks of things. Right, I've got to shoot off, guys, because somebody's just come to see me, and my wife's not in, so I've got to go deal with them. So basically, this afternoon, I'm going to be looking for pullbacks up into the 2050 zone on both of these, and then continuing shorts. Okay, so we've had a really good push down, looking for some kind of pullback and drop this afternoon across all the indices. Don't really think there's any reason why we shouldn't have these continuing to drop today. We've been waiting for this drop to happen across the indices. We've been waiting for this 2472 area to start looking for shorts for the next leg down. Today, it looks like this may well be the start of it. So I'm looking for a decent sized down day today, ideally. But we'll see. So plays really are going to be looking for pullbacks and then drops. At the moment, we're not really getting many. So it's maybe fairly difficult to jump in on these. But that's basically what I'm going to be focusing on. I'm going to keep my stops fairly wide, which means obviously I'm going to be putting on similar sort of amount of risk. But I'm going to keep fairly wide stops on these, so the trades will play out fairly. If I do get stopped out on them, I'm not going to get into too many trades, which is going to stop me over trading basically, because I've had a good morning and good afternoon so far. So I'm looking basically to keep wide stops on everything. And then try and get in with some decent size stops and build positions short. But yeah, that's the plan for this afternoon. All going well so far, so we'll keep on top of it in that respect. FX, not an awful lot happening really on most of the FX pairs. The Swissy seems to be the only thing moving at the moment. It looks like it's fairly up and down actually as well. So not a lot of movement on the FX pairs out the gate, which doesn't surprise me because we've got no news today. So there's nothing really to look forward to. We have got news at 4 o'clock. We've got Powell speaking. Potentially that might do something. So worthwhile looking out for that. We've got Lowe speaking tomorrow morning, but not necessarily. Unless there's something dramatic said, that shouldn't really make much impact on the market. Lagarde tomorrow afternoon, and then we've got Jordan from the Swiss National Bank ahead of the monetary policy rate decision on Thursday. So no news again really tomorrow either. So we're all geared up for Wednesday. So we may well have a bit of a sideways early start to this week, but we'll see. Indices, obviously, different kettle of fish, but from an FX perspective, don't seem to be doing an awful lot at the moment. So keep your eyes on the indices. We've got nice pullbacks happening at the moment. So looking for short opportunities. We've got some decent movement starting to form in the opposite direction. So look for short opportunities and get in on some nice bearish price action short. assuming we get it. Just thinking it will go down probably another 100 points and then come back bullish later today. Yep, could do. Can do anything it wants, obviously, but we are in a bear market. We've had 4 up days on the trot in the bear market. If we are in a bear market continuously for the next foreseeable month or so, we should be looking to short every opportunity, short every pop. But we'll see. Today will be a good confirmation. If we do get this drop and we just break new highs and put another bull day in, we have to question whether or not this is a bull market still. But bear market. Bear market is 2472 bounces. That's what we're looking for in a bear market. In a bull market, we're looking for 2472 bounces in exactly the same way, but in the opposite direction. So this is where we should be starting to short. But we will see. Only time will tell. Right. Okay. So that's my plan this afternoon. Give it some time to pull back and start getting into short positions. I have got one on here already on the Dow with a nice wide stop above the 50. The DAX, I'm going to look for an entry if we can get a pullback into the sort of 20. Probably start taking one at the 20 with a fairly decent stop on it. Looking for sellers to start to step in there as a worst case scenario. If it gets there. I mean, if it doesn't get there, you can probably just short the lows at the moment, the way this thing's coming down. So we will see. All right, guys. So sorry, I've got to shoot off. I wasn't aware someone was coming to see me this afternoon. So I'll be back tomorrow morning at 7:50, ready for the Frankfurt session. Keep your eyes peeled on these indices this afternoon. Look for short opportunities. Keep some fairly wide stops on these because obviously we've had a big, strong push down, so we may well have some fairly decent swings back up again. So you don't want to get in too tight, or if you do get in too tight, obviously you're going to get very high reward when you do get it right, but be prepared to be stopped out on some of these, obviously, if you're getting in on tight stops above the highs. So, all right, have a good one. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 7:50, ready for the Frankfurt session. If you need anything else, come in the Telegram group. I shall be in there, and hopefully have a good afternoon and make some pips. I will see you tomorrow morning.